We got it right here. We are looking at it today. I cannot wait to show you this red dragon. It is amazing. Alright everyone, here it is, the adult red dragon from Wizkids. Now if you haven't seen already my white dragon, the adult white dragon miniature review, check it out in this link just here, as well as there's a link in the description below. However, I just want to talk about the magnificence that is this creature, that is this dragon. Now, one thing I am surprised about is that Wizards of the Coast and Wizkids didn't wait until the final dragon for it to be the red one. In my opinion, the red dragon is the most iconic dragon. It's the most popular one, the most well-known one. It's the one that you think of when you think Dungeons and Dragons. So releasing the white dragon kind of made sense to me. It's an amazing figurine, amazing miniature, and a really cool creature. They did just release Rime of the Frost Maiden, so having a white dragon miniature for the adult dragon come out made so much sense. You've also got the white dragon that is in the I Spy's Essentials kit, which I'm running a series on too, so link up there for you. And you could potentially push that story along long enough that it is actually an adult white dragon that is ravaging the area of the Sword Coast near Phandalin and Neverwinter, rather than a young white dragon. So I'm surprised that they released the red one so early on. I, in my mind, imagine it would have probably gone something like the white dragon first, then perhaps the green dragon, which has actually only just been announced. Then maybe your blue dragon because of Storm King's Thunder. You could probably use that in replacement for... You know what? I don't want to spoil that story. You should go and read it if you haven't already played it. And if you are playing it, just know that there are dragons everywhere. And then the black dragon could probably pop up. It hasn't really been showcased in many games, any stories yet, apart from the most obvious one, which is the Tyranny of Dragons series. And then finally, finishing it off with your red dragon. But they didn't, and here we are, we have it. It's our second one that we get to review, and already I'm a huge fan of the pose. So I'll put up some close-up shots. I love just the stance that it has. The white dragon definitely seemed a lot more vicious and aggressive, as if though it was swooping down to attack you, whereas the red dragon miniature, it looks as if though it is flying high up in the sky in all its glory, looking down on the peasants, looking down on everyone and everything, because to it is the epitome of greatness, of power. So I love the stance that they've created for it. Again, the actual paint job is amazing. I love that it's not just red. I love that they've got this body here, this almost tanned color. However, it's very dirty. I love that the red actually fades off into a black when you look at the wings. It is a really beautiful miniature. There's so many crevices. You can see the scales on it. So I think I really appreciate the amount of detail that hasn't gone into it. One thing that I have noticed about the red dragon, however, and let's size comparison. The head, yep, it is just as big as my head still, so that's a good thing. Get a little bit closer there. One thing I have noticed though is when I pulled it out of the box, it felt... Maybe I'm just being picky, but it has a bit more of a smoother texture. And so it almost, I mean, I know they're made of plastic, but it has a bit of a plastic feel. Even the scales on the front, they don't feel as gritty as the white dragon did. And even these frills here, I'm actually not too much of a fan of the frills on it because they can bend. Like this one here is already bent a little bit, and they can be very fragile. Whereas I found that with the white dragon, if you go back and watch it, it definitely felt as if though it could fall over and nothing would break off of it. Let's do a wing test. Is it as flexible? Ooh, I mean, it is, but I'm afraid to bend it much further. So maybe it's, I don't know, it's not as flexible, I would say. Now, not that I'm going to be running around, oh, here comes the dragon. Probably not what you should be doing when you have miniatures at this detail and at a bit of a price point. These come in at around 115 to 125 Australian dollars. So they aren't cheap. However, as I mentioned in my very first video, this is something that I think you should definitely invest in if you are a DM who plans to run Dungeons and Dragons. multiple times with friends, with new groups, because at the end of the day, all the other miniatures I find you can definitely pick them up on eBay for a cheaper price. You can go and buy the blind boxes, so that way you can have a chance of getting them and a little bit of fun with randomizing. However, these aren't really going to be something that you can get in a year's time or 2 years' time. They are going to be a limited run. Wizards of the Coast and Wizkids aren't going to just keep on creating these miniatures because they're very specific. However, the great thing about them is, should we move to 6th edition, 7th edition, and so on, the point is, dragons are always going to be in Dungeons and Dragons. So this miniature is forever going to be useful. I could use this if I wanted to go back and run 3.5 edition. I mean, even maybe if I ever ran 4th edition. The point is, dragons, I could use this mini all the time. So I am a huge, huge fan of it. I think it's beautiful. It already looks amazing on the shelf. It does still have the ring, so you've got what is the actual size if you're using a battle map, and then you've got the larger base to support it so it doesn't fall over. I mean, I can give it a little tap, I can bump it, and on top of that, I just think the stance is fantastic. I think it's something that you need to get. I think it's something that everyone should get their hands on if they want to keep running D&D. Now, if that is something you're interested in doing, first of all, go to your local game store. If you can get it from there, get it from there. That is my highest recommendation. I get all my miniatures from my local game store because I want to help them out. Now, I understand that some people at the moment in the world can't get to their local game store. They may not even live near one. I know that it's not the easiest thing. Some people might just prefer to purchase online. So I do need to make it clear. I purchased this. This is mine. But I do have affiliate Amazon links down below where I will be linking this creature, this miniature in particular, as well as a few others that might be of interest to you. And if you're a new player, there's a few books there as well. My thinking is, if you can't get to your local game store to support them, maybe support your local YouTuber. Just click down, have a look, see if it's something you're interested in getting. I don't know how long they'll last. I don't know if Amazon's going to have them forever or even till the end of the year or whatever, but they're down there. Again, you don't have to. It's just something that I know that is a great way to help support the channel and help me continue creating content. So if you do, thank you. If you don't, that doesn't matter. A thumbs up is actually the best I could ever hope for. So if you like this video, then, you know, you're great. Have a look at it. I think it's a fantastic miniature. Consider getting it. And I will see you again when I get the next one, which I believe might be the Black Dragon, but no promises. I just have to wait and see when my local game store gets them in. See you next time. I don't want to bump the table because it'll make a weird sound, but I can, you know, look at that. Move it around. Tap, tap, tap. Woo! Not falling over. Pretty good. See you there.